Now we'll go into like the quick rapid fire. I have around 10 to 12 questions. So basically you have to give me your quick answers. For everyone, thank you so much for subscribing to Patreon, and thank you so much for supporting me. Here is Mark Metry, and here is our rapid fire with him. Mark, your best purchase in the last year?
My best purchase in the last year. So I really struggle with not touching my phone in the morning. And so I used to just like always have it there as like my alarm clock. I literally wake up every day and just burr, 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 burr. I started putting my phone downstairs and in my bedroom upstairs. I bought this thing called a sunset alarm clock. Based on the time that you want to wake up, that you program it, it basically like simulates a sunrise. It's like a really weird circle, and then like the whole thing lights up slowly, and then it gets brighter, and then like trees and birds start rustling, and it's trying to give you like the illusion of sunrise in the morning.
This is interesting. So like it's called sunrise alarm? What is it called?
Yeah. It's called like the sunrise alarm. Google that and it'll come up. It gradually wakes you up. And so this is like a great way to like literally feel better when you wake up, and then also be away from your phone.
Love that. Biggest mistake people make on LinkedIn?
I think the biggest mistake people make on LinkedIn is that they just copy and paste whatever they do on social media platforms on LinkedIn. It just doesn't work the same. At least like you can copy and paste, but at least try to modify it.
Biggest mistake people make when they're podcast guests?
Okay, biggest mistake guests can make is not making sure that they are energetically ready. And honestly, I didn't do a good job at that before this. To be honest with you, I was just kind of feeling before this. Not because of you, but just because of me. And so I didn't do a good job at that. But usually like I try to make sure that like I'm active, I'm focused on the right things, I have my intention set out. That's been the biggest thing. And so making sure that you're energetically ready.
I love that. What is one new and upcoming podcast that has impressed you?
I listened to a podcast on Sunday with Jay Shetty and Russ, the artist and musician.
Yeah.
And before that, I listened to a podcast, also Jay Shetty with Big Sean, the rapper. Those two blew my mind.
Awesome. And what's one myth that you'd like to debunk about yourself?
I think the two biggest misconceptions about me are, number one, people are like, all right, bro, you're 23 years old. You don't know how life works. You know, you're just talking out of your ass. You just listen to a lot of Gary Vee and you just regurgitate it. It's one
Ageism, yes, it's a thing. Yeah.
And so I think it's that, but then the other angle of it is people saying it's like the reverse of ageism. They like look at me as like a 23-year-old as like some like young demigod from like Earth who's like been doing this since like the age of 5. Every single day I wake up and I do all these things that I've been talking about for the last 48 minutes. And so if people find that beneficial, if they don't, that's fine. You know, it's totally okay. Like there's 7.5 billion people, and I have to be okay with the fact that not everyone's gonna understand me or wanna understand me or even like who I am once they understand me.
Love that. One thing that you would say is your favorite cheat meal?
You know what's interesting? I guess it depends on like your dietary ideology.
What is it for Mark?
My favorite foods are probably eggs, avocados, steak, salmon, mushrooms, potatoes. I like ice cream a lot, but I actually found a healthy ice cream that's called keto. I think the other company is called Rebel. Those two make great ice creams that have no sugar, have no processed ingredients, chemicals. And I honestly try to eat that as often as possible.
That's awesome. Last question, your favorite creator and why?
Man, oh man.
No, God, please, no.
When you have people like that in your circle who you talk to on a regular basis, what they do just doesn't become impressive anymore.
No, impressed.
From a good perspective, it's like, hey, if this person launched like this crazy company, why can't I do the same exact thing? I've met that person. I know they're a real person. And when you meet someone as like a real person, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. It's interesting because now I just have like a much more contextual viewpoint of like, I love Gary Vaynerchuk. I've been on his office before. I love the content that he puts around different topics, but I also like disagree with him on different things. And I also don't want to live his lifestyle. And I also don't necessarily like the goals that he has. I don't want those goals for my life. And there's different people where they do like a lot of great things, but then there's a part of them where I don't necessarily want to emulate that. And that's not a knock on them. That's not like, oh, they suck, but like, that's just like a realistic viewpoint, I feel like, of looking at the world. And so there's just different people that I just look at for different things, depending on the genre, depending on the angle. So that's just like human nature. And so I try to keep in mind like that perspective.
I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you again for this rapid fire. This was really fun. Thanks,
Real
Mark.
rapid fire. Yeah.